much money did that fucker make? And he.
Just how you drew it up, everybody. Eagles sign a running back, pay him a lot of money. They sign a linebacker, pay him a lot of money. The linebacker. And now they make a trade for two gloves Pickett. What's up, everybody? You're watching live on a Friday night, 9 o'clock. I was not expecting this story, and we have so much to talk about tonight. Like, really. Black Gritty is going to join us about halfway through the show as I want his take because he's a noted Howie Roseman hater. And once again, it's Howie season. So I want to see if he's willing to give it up that Howie has had one hell of an off season. So he's calling in. We'll talk a little bit about the Fanatic, and the lineup was announced, or at least part of it, today. That's coming up later on the show. We're going to play Unpopular Opinion before we get out of here. But before Kenny Pickett, an updated look at the Eagles offseason edition so far. Saquon Barkley, Bryce Huff, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He was reintroduced to the media. We have a clip from that. So Barkley, Huff, CJ, Devin White, Devontae Parker, Zach Bond, Matt Hennessy, now Kenny Pickett, and Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio, both coordinators, new coordinators. So you go and I was when I did Channel 29 last night, and Jason Martinez, the host of I don't know how he goes from doing regular serious news to he's such a character, and we do the sports stuff, and he's a lunatic. But he had said this the last time I was on, and I agreed with him then, and I kind of still agreed with him until the start of free agency. Not that I'm out on the Eagles, but I'm out. I'm done. I don't want to think about this team right now. And I wasn't that toxic before the start of free agency, but I still was like, well, what are they going to do to the defense? Their corners are old. They're not going to spend big money on a safety. They're not going to spend big money on a linebacker. Like, forget about it. And then the Saquon Barkley rumor got out there, and Howard Eskin went on WIP and said that there's a mutual attraction there. And it's like, you know what? They're going to sign Saquon Barkley, aren't they? Because he wants to play here. Because he wants to shove it up the Giants' butt. Then they signed him. And then Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. It's like, wow, all right. They got a good deal on him. If you see that contract, it's really like a one-year contract. And then Devin White on a one-year contract. Wow. So two gloves Pickett, Kenny Pickett. I had this written down for a previous night this week, and then I wasn't here Wednesday, and we never actually got to it. But the trade that the Seahawks made for Sam Howell caught my attention. I like Sam Howell a lot. I think he has a chance to be a quality starter in the NFL. Will he be? I think he has a chance to be a quality starter in the NFL. A fifth, like not a top 10, but a top 15, maybe. The right team, a good team. You put a good team around him. Can he develop and not make as many mistakes as he was making in Washington and taking too many sacks? A lot of things that a young quarterback does. I was impressed with him. And I thought Seattle gave up a couple of late round draft picks. Got a hell of a steal, and it makes sense for Washington to move on from them. I'm not saying that Washington should keep them. They had the number 2 pick. They're drafting a quarterback, so you bring in a veteran. I don't even know if they sign a veteran backup. I think they may have. Anyway, so it made sense to trade him. There wasn't a market, just like there's not a market for Justin Fields. There wasn't a market on Sam Howell. I like Sam Howell a lot. I wouldn't trade him in division to the Eagles. And maybe the Eagles were sniffing around, and they were like, nah. We'll send them out to Seattle. So the Eagles, when you look at their track record And we know they're a quarterback factory, right? But Howie Roseman obviously covets quarterbacks and realizes that a backup quarterback, a strong backup quarterback, is very important over the course of a season. Forget about Nick Foles for a second, which is the number 1 seed example. It's anytime the quarterback gets injured. When he comes in and he sucks, doesn't always mean the season's over. And I always love when people say, well, if you lose your quarterback, then the season's over. You lose Jalen Hurts for 2, 3, or 4 games, you need to at least go 2-2 in those games if you're a legitimate Super Bowl contender. Gardner Minshew was kind of like, I was ready for him to leave town when he got out of here. And I'm not telling you I think Kenny Pickett's any good, because I don't, but I think he's an above average backup quarterback. So the trade itself, what they gave up, they get the Steelers' 4th round draft pick. So really, the Steelers get the 98th overall pick and 2 7th round draft picks. Who cares? And the Eagles get a 4th round pick. So they go from 98 to 120. So the Eagles get 120, the Steelers get 98, and then they get the 2 7. So you get Kenny Pickett, who was a 1st round draft pick a couple years ago. And tell me who doesn't remember this, because I remember stirring the pot with it, that Howie was at the Pitt game and he had the binoculars and he was watching Kenny Pickett with the binoculars. And it was the year it was like, oh, they don't want Jalen. They're looking at Deshaun Watson. They're looking at Russell Wilson. By the way, they were doing that. If Russell Wilson would have came to Philly, guess who'd be here right now? Or maybe that he wouldn't be here right now, but guess who would have been here? Russell Wilson. I'm confident in saying that. Sometimes the best deals you make are the ones you don't make. So he like Kenny Pickett, or somebody like Kenny Pickett, it appeared, coming out of college. Again, this is a backup quarterback. He doesn't make a lot of money, and he's already been a starter in this league. Not a good starter, but I'd rather have him than Mariota, frankly. Mariota signed in Washington. That's who signed in Washington, Marcus Mariota. There you go. I answered my own question, and I'm sure a lot of people in the chat answered the question too. I'm not looking at it right now. But Jerry Dulac, who is a longtime columnist in Pittsburgh for the Post-Gazette, he had tweeted out, and you'd kind of heard whispers of this last year when he lost his job, and they wanted him to back up Mason Rudolph, and he wouldn't do it. But so Gary Dulac writes the following: that the Steelers made the move because the way Pickett was poorly handling the arrival of Russell Wilson, according to sources. That came on the heels of Pickett's behavior last season when he refused to dress as the emergency 3rd quarterback in Seattle in Week 17. So that's a report. And sometimes I look at these reports because for the most part, believe the reporters. I'm not telling you I believe every reporter, but guys that I've had Jerry on a number of times on my national show. So I follow him on social media. I know some talk radio hosts out in Pittsburgh. So if he says something, I'm likely to believe it. Albert Breer, MMQB, he tweets the following: can confirm Jerry Dulac's reporting that Kenny Pickett's handling of the Russell Wilson signing was a factor in the Steelers' decision. He communicated to the team he was fine with competing for the job, then went the other way when Wilson was added, so he's gone. Let's bring in Delco Steve for this, because we share an opinion. You're also, Delco Steve, you're a big Nick Costos fan, and I heard Nick kind of short-circuited on this exact same thing.
So I didn't get a chance to hear it today.
Oh, it's awesome.
I'm excited.
He's gonna say the same things that we are, and I'm still fine with the trade because it's a backup quarterback. This isn't your franchise quarterback. But if I'm Kenny Pickett and I feel like, you know what, I'm 14-10 as a starter, and I'm not telling you that I've been great, but still, right? We're 14-10. We were ready to be a playoff team. I got injured. They brought in Mason Rudolph, blah, 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 blah. You're going to bring in Russell Wilson. I watched Russell Wilson play last year. Russell Wilson sucks. I'm better than Russell Wilson, and they can bring him in here all they want. He's not making a lot of money. The Steelers are paying him like $1.5 million. So it's not like they just committed $40 million to him. He's going to come in, and you know what? I'm going to be the starter before the end of the season because I'm better than he is, right? That's the way I would act. It would be, and I would be professional with Russ, and depending on how he treated and talked to me is how I would do it back. But you know what? Inside, I'd be burning. That Russell Wilson, who is washed up, you're telling me that he's taking my job? I was a first-round draft pick 2 years ago. I'm better than this MFer, right? Instead, he takes his ball and gets traded. So, like, this is the last thing I want to see from any of my football players, in particular a quarterback. So I'm rubbed the wrong way with him coming here just based on this crap. And the stuff last year where he wouldn't be the third string emergency quarterback because Mason Rudolph, again, if we believe that to be true, and everything that I've seen is that is true. Zach Wilson maybe did something similar when they asked him to be a backup or to come back and be a starter. I'm out on a quarterback that's doing that. So I hope that when he comes here, he has a totally different mentality if that was actually something he did.
I can't stand when guys don't want to compete. It's my biggest pet peeve. I hate it it doesn't matter as much in college football now, but it used to be, a freshman loses a job to a sophomore or junior, and then he would transfer and skip a year because he could be a starter somewhere else. It's like, that's never made sense to me. Just, if you think you're better than somebody, put your head down, get to work, and beat them out. I said this to you before we got onto the air. I'd rather lose 100 times out of 100 than quit. I'll admit when I can't win, but I'm going to try until I can't.
All right, so here's where I would say, if they would have just traded for, let's say before Deshaun Watson was traded, if they traded for Deshaun Watson, then I think he can be like, all right, you know what? I want to be traded. Right? With like Mac Jones, for instance.
Yeah.
Mac Jones isn't their quarterback going forward. They're going to use that pick on a draft pick. They're not going to keep him around. Why would you keep him around? Right? So then you trade him, you get what you can. But that wasn't the case here. This is a 1-year contract with Russell Wilson, who has not been good.
Right. You can't beat him. You can't beat him. Oh,
man. I'd salivate over beating that fool.
Well, the sad thing is Kenny Pickett's stats are worse than Russell Wilson's stats.
Russell Wilson's stats are actually pretty good.
Last year was good. The first year in Denver was atrocious.
But his stats are better than his play. I watched enough Denver games.
Definitely last year.
He didn't throw the ball downfield. He was dinking and ducking everything. He was really being managed by Sean Payton. I think Sean Payton did a great job with him last year. They don't have Sean Payton in Pittsburgh. In fact, one of the weaknesses of the organization is the friggin' offensive coordinator, whoever it is this year.
It's Arthur Smith this year. It's
actually a good one. Yeah,
he was a great offensive coordinator when he was with Tennessee. Look what he got out of those offenses.
Yeah,
we'll had a bunch of nothing.
We'll see what he does with Russell Wilson. All right, but
they also just traded Deontay Johnson,
right? Because he's a pain in the ass. I guess what I'm saying is that if I was Kenny Pickett, man, you want to talk about a chip on your shoulder? I'm 14-10 as a starter. I know it. I haven't been great, and you're going to bring in Russell Wilson. Oh, I can't wait to beat this guy.
Kenny Pickett doesn't even have one touchdown pass per game or per victory.
Kenny Pickett stinks as a starter.
He's got 13 touchdown passes for his career. For his career. That's pathetic.
He's an affordable backup.
Yeah. I never understood when the Steelers drafted him at 20. In my opinion, if the first quarterback off the board in a draft is 20, you're making a mistake.
Right. Yeah, it was a mistake. They know it, and they should have went out and get Russell Wilson. I would have done the same thing. I would have got Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph would have been a quarterback this year before.
How do they not make a play for Justin Fields? How is he not better option than any of these guys?
No one thinks that he is, man. It's crazy. Where's I had a good message here. Oh, here it is from Jimmy Moe. So if you believe what they're saying can't be okay, disharmony in the quarterback room for a guy that isn't very good. Here's where I think it's different. He's getting traded here with Jalen Hurts being an MVP type quarterback and was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. He's not coming in here trying to steal his job, right? So he almost had if his mentality isn't, I'm sure his agent is like, hey, listen, this is an opportunity to go to a high profile team and rebuild yourself to where then you can make a lot of money as a top backup, or you can maybe get a starting job again, right? Regardless, He's in a good spot coming here, a real good spot coming here. He's on a good team with a lot of talent. And if he's got to step in, and if Jalen Hurts misses a couple games and Pickett comes in and the Eagles offense looks good, teams are going to want him. There's going to be a team or two out there that's interested in him. So he's coming to a good spot. I hope the mentality's right with him coming here, because I don't like what happened in Pittsburgh.
I can't see how his mentality would be right, in all honesty. It would be a personality shift for him. It just doesn't make sense to me. There's no way he's going to come here and just be, all right, cool, I'm getting paid the same amount. I know I'm sitting on the bench instead of having a chance to compete. That doesn't seem like all of a sudden you're going to go from, oh, I'm pissed off about it to now I'm happy about it.
He better not be unhappy, coming in here. So what's the first thing when you think of Kenny Pickett? What's the first thing that you think of? Because this is where I love the trade.
The fake slide in when he was in college, and someone should have took his head off.
That's a great answer.
That's my first thought of Kenny Pickett every time I see him.
Well, I actually remember that, and I thought the same thing. Like, you're gonna get guys killed, you idiot. But that's not the first thing. It's the 2 gloves and it's the small hands. So you can see dropping back, not the biggest hands. There's another picture right there.
See, my small hands guy is Jared Goff. So whenever I reference small hands, I say Jared Goff. So I can't go to Kenny Pickett first.
I missed I had the tab up here before, but famously when he was going through the draft process, he wears the gloves because he's.
I know he has small hands, but that was Jared Goff was my original one, so I just always go to that. And he wears 2 gloves when it's cold too.
He sure does. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you have to. Unless you want the ball sliding out of your hand, not being able to throw it. But like, he was going through the process, and I didn't like this either. It was actually the first kind of. He was uptight about the hand stuff, and he was. Do you remember he was wearing some type of contraption? They were trying to stretch. His hands.
Yeah, you had the finger. I forget what it was. I've seen it before too.
Yeah,
it's the hand strengthening thing too. It like. And then there's like a thing to like crank it that like it's weird.
You crank it. Yeah, no, you're right.
It's like a body stretcher. I need one of them for my actual physique.
Nobody needs anything like this. Like, your hands are what they are, bro. I get it, but they were so freaking worried about it. Then did they not measure it at the combine?
He's insecure about his tiny hands. It's all
he
right.
is. You know what that means? He's insecure about some other stuff too. There,
he's got small socks too.
He may have small socks. So you have that as well. You have the small hands. So we'll enjoy all that. But I mean, overall, who is going to be their backup quarterback? Howie's got somebody under contract for 2 years, and you get him here, and you're like, all right, listen, whatever. Because frankly, Kenny Pickett didn't show me a whole hell of a lot in Pittsburgh. Now, Gardner Minshew shows me nothing when I watch him as a starter as well. So I realize the starters that you have here.
Gardner Minshew kind of balls out though when he plays. He
does. No, he's got a much better game than Kenny Pickett.
He's also got I think he's got way more of like a YOLO game.
He's a turnover machine. He sucks. Yeah. He's a turnover machine. He's a better back. Is he a better back? He's a better backup than Kenny Pickett or similar.
I think he would be a better backup than Kenny Pickett because I think he's a better mentality than Kenny Pickett.
All right, agreed.
If you're
better quarterbacks Pickett. Better throwers Pickett.
Talent, yes, Pickett.
Okay.
But I liked what you were saying about Sam Howell earlier. Sam Howell was projected to be the number 1 overall pick the one year.
And he fell big time because of a bad year.
He came back. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago with like Matt Barkley, Matt Leinart, and yada whoever else. But if he came out his first year of eligibility, he probably would have been a top 5 pick.
He would have been a top pick.
And then he went back and became a 5th round and played like crap and became a 5th round pick.
And you can see how when you watch him play with Washington, because he's had too many snaps since coming into college to be taking some of the sacks that he does and to make some of the throws that he does. But you know what happens? Guys like that, when they're 29, 30, get really good. I see Rich Gannon. Yeah, they put it together.
The game slows down. Yep. Especially if you gave him an offensive line like we have compared to what Washington was trotting out.
Terrible organization. Ron Rivera as the head coach. Terrible organization. Yeah, the Seahawks are a good organization. Believe me, John Schneider, their GM out there, they take a look at him and they're like, yeah, he could be the guy that takes over for Geno.
He's a top 10 GM, John Schneider.
Yeah, John Schneider's good. He is.
I love him. I think he's great.
And they have really good receivers in Seattle too, if they can stay healthy. That's the potential to be a good team. Geno, they wouldn't even commit to him being the starter. They guarantee the money or whatever, but they won't commit to him being the starter. Sam Howell might end up starting before the season's over.
Geno's contract is only like guaranteed for like 10, 11 million or something like that. And back to Nick Costos, he thinks Seattle could flip him if someone decides they need a better starter.
Could be.
Because he's on a cheap contract and you can still build a good team around him.
Yeah, people in the chat not fans of Nick Costos for some reason. Nick Costos is awesome.
He's good. He knows more about football than a lot of people combined.
He is.
He's a junkie, and that's why I like him.
Yep. Yeah, he's awesome. All right. So thumbs up. We'll move on. Thumbs up on the Pickett trade.
I'm very
No, you seem to be trending on a thumbs down.
I'm definitely closer to thumbs down than I am thumbs up. But
Okay.
if he comes in with let's put it like this, if he has the good mentality and like you said, if he comes in and realizes he's got a chance to rebuild his career as a backup here, then great trade. And I don't think that matters for the draft capital. Who cares about the 2 late 7th round picks? It was the compensation 3rd pick, whatever. You're dropping 22
they got 22 spots. Yeah.
Yeah. And what would you have gotten to be your backup anyway? Are we okay with what's it, McKee, or what was it? Our other guy's name, from Stanford.
Tanner McKee. Yeah.
Tanner McKee. Yeah.
Like,
are you okay with? Are you okay with him being the backup? I don't know if I'm okay with that. So,
but the reality is that if something happened to Hurts and Pickett came in and he sucked, they would put McKee in after. You know what I mean? Like they're going to play the guy. Pickett might get the first shot at it. That doesn't mean that if he sucks that they're not going to put McKee in there. McKee looked good in the preseason, but that doesn't necessarily always translate. So
I also think this is probably better than a potential Justin Fields trade, where if Hurts struggles, everyone's going to be get Fields in. Where if Hurts struggles now, no one's going to be clamoring for Kenny Pickett to.
Yeah, because quite frankly, I would absolutely be one of the people stirring the pot if Hurts wasn't throwing the ball well and he didn't look good, 100%. Because I still believe in Jalen Hurts, but if he comes out and he struggles this year, this is a big look to bleep out. If he comes out and he doesn't look good again this year,
agreed. But I don't think anyone's going to be saying, "Oh, he's that bad. Let's get Kenny Pickett in the game here because we think he can win it." Where if it was just
with Fields, right? I'd be saying that. Yes.
Yeah. So at least Fields could come in and run for 100 yards.
It's too
good. Not even throw the ball.
It's too good of a team. It's like there's too much talent on the team. If Jalen's not playing well, I mean, Jesus, one of the Carr brothers, the one that doesn't play anymore, David, he had said Mariota should be in there playing late last year.
I was a Mariota stan for a while, and then you watch that couple preseason games here, and I was just like, "Oh, come on, dude!"
Well, it's just back-to-back years that their backups quit on their team the year before. Because he did the same thing in Atlanta, if you remember.
Yep,
he got injured.
Yeah, it was on the quarterback. It
was on that show. Yeah, it was on that show.
Yep.
All right, so not a thumbs up.
Yeah, definitely not a thumbs up for me.
Yeah, I just I don't really think he's all that good, but most backup quarterbacks aren't all that good. So you got a relatively cheap one. If he had to come in and play, I don't feel like it wouldn't be like I'm trying to think of a bad backup quarterback, like a Ben DiNucci. Remember the Cowboys had those backups that were so bad? Pickett's not like that.
Tommy DeVito.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen.
Tommy DeVito probably
wasn't bad.
He won more games than Kenny Pickett probably did last year.
Yeah, I agree, Kevin. Competent backup, so I'm fine. He's not coming in here, and he's not gonna poison the locker room by coming in here because he was a first round pick of the Steelers. Nobody here cares that he was a first round draft pick.
No,
so whatever. Mike McMahon, that's a great pull, Vince. And I thought Mike McMahon was going to be good because I liked him in Detroit when he did some spot starting and he came in. I forget who the starter was up there. Mike McMahon sucked. It's one of the reasons why they drafted Kevin Cobb, if you remember.
I hate Kevin Cobb.
Well, because Donovan kept getting hurt, and they were like, "Oh, Mike McMahon." And Mike McMahon was so bad it ruined the year. The year Donovan got hurt, when he had that, I guess it was the sports hernia.
I think it was.
Yeah, so they're like, "Yeah, Mike McMahon's our guy," and he was so bad. They're like, "All right, we got to draft somebody." And Kevin Cobb sucked too.
Yeah, Kevin Cobb that was their first pick that year, and I was ready to put my fit. Like we talked about this, we love the draft.
Yeah,
I dialed in on the Eagles draft. I'm like, all right, cool. Finally, we're picking. We're getting whoever it is. I'm excited. Quarterback Kevin Cobb from.
And they traded out of the first round. Didn't they trade with Dallas, who took Felix Jones?
I believe so.
This was 2007. I'll never forget it. I was working. Mike Miss hadn't even gotten to 9:50 a.m. yet. I was working at. It was 9:50. I guess it was not just like sports radio 950. And we had a draft party at Nick's Roast Beef in Northeast Philly, not even the one on Woodhaven Road, Northeast Philly. And I was working with Jack McCaffrey. Do you know Jack McCaffrey, Delco Steve?
I do not.
Jack McCaffrey's as Delco as they come. He's the longtime columnist for the Delco Times. And it was actually
I'm not a newspaper guy.
I know you can't read, so I didn't know. I know you don't read them. But Jack also it was one of my first jobs in radio. I was his producer on the weekends. He had a show on 950 on the weekends, like Saturday from 12 to 4. I love Jack. Jack's the best. But so we had this draft, we had the draft special. And
not to cut you off, but they traded with the Cowboys, and the Cowboys drafted the linebacker Anthony Spencer from Purdue.
Okay. I remember them trading with the Cowboys. But Quentin Michael came out because I forget how many years he was with the Eagles, but someone had maybe knew his agent or something that said, hey, get him out. Eagles players make a lot of money post-career if they want to. So he came out for this draft, and we had a live broadcast, and McCaffrey flipped his shit when they traded out of the first-round draft pick, and then when they drafted Cobb. Totally flipped out. I'll never forget Quentin Michael's face. He was just like, oh my God. He was on the air. He's like, I can't really, what am I supposed to do or say? McCaffrey went nuts. It was awesome. And Jack's brother is the Fran McCaffrey. He's the head basketball coach at Iowa.
Nice.
Yeah, no, and he's so Jack used to go out there, and Franny's a Delco guy as well. Longtime Delco guy. Franny McCaffrey. That's why he looks like such a dick when you watch the Iowa games out there. He's always screaming and yelling. It's great. Anyway, so CJGJ, we talked about this, right? So the story comes out. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson gets signed, and I went I got to find the video where he was complaining about the Eagles fans. He called them obnoxious and called them the worst or whatever. So we talked about it earlier in the week. We said, what was that about? Because I don't like Slay. And one of the reasons I don't like Slay is he never takes responsibility for anything. And he's way too, I don't know, he's way too aloof. Some guys understand the mentality of Philly. Some guys don't. Slay doesn't. And at least Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, it was all right, he loved playing here and he didn't want to leave. And we thought, you know what? That's why he kind of acted like that. He was mad that the Eagles weren't willing to pay him what he wanted and he had to leave, right? So here he is today. Here's CJGJ at his introductory press conference saying they asked him about it. They said, hey, well, you said these things last time when you left Philadelphia. What do you have to say about that now? Here is CJGJ.
So, I mean, all jokes aside, it wasn't, I was just in my feelings. You want to be somewhere so bad to the point where you can't control certain things. So certain things was said, there was no meaning to it. I'm back. So I guess we all happy. In the reunion.
See, and that's what I want to hear. Which is I was in my feelings, and it's yeah, you are. That's fine. Right? He's going to be a wild card, but that's also that type of energy that he has is also what made him impactful in the Eagles defense, because he is that guy on the field. And he had 6 interceptions the year he got hurt. He led the league in interceptions, almost in a 3/4 part role, but anyway, I thought I watched most of the press conference today. I thought he was great, and I'm happy.
I like the line where I'm obnoxious, and I thought calling Philly fans obnoxious was a compliment. Love it. I'm in. Hey, however you want to spin that, buddy, to make that work, I'm in. Because we are. Let's be honest, we are.
Of course we are, and that's why if people take some players, and guess what? Some of it, I mean, it's our fault too, because it's the way we are. But sometimes it takes players a couple years to where they say, now I get these. Now I get it. I get it. There's a moment where it clicks. With other guys, it just right away, they're I get it. When I came here, when he was drafted, he got it. Some guys get it because that's their mentality. Other guys, they need time to click. Slay's not going to click. Slay's never going to get it.
And he's an old dog. It's like teaching an old dog new tricks kind of thing. He was in the league for however many years before he came here. And he already had a mindset based on playing here, from other players playing here, all that. So, so it's going to be kind of hard to change somebody's opinions on that.
So, Tim, because somebody else had said here that guaranteed that his teammates don't like him. I'll just say this. I remember when he threw, what corner was it? It was a young corner, threw him under the bus. So do you remember when he threw a teammate under the bus after that Dallas game? I think it was a young corner. Slay did.
Okay.
And
no, I don't recall.
And it sounded bad. And the next day with I'm sure the comments will give it to us. The next day, Brandon Graham show, I asked him about it, and he had said, "Yeah, Slay can't be saying that. Like that's not how we do things in the Eagles locker room. He can't be saying that, and he knows that. He knows that. So he acknowledged by saying, and he knows that either he had a conversation or he didn't. I'm assuming that he did, but Brandon had no problem publicly saying, yeah, he can't do that, and he knows that, right? So like maybe his teammates they see the skill and they realize the corner position. It's kind of diva-ish, like the wide receivers a lot of times, and maybe Bradbury probably balances it out because he didn't say much. But yeah, nobody wants to hear him saying that he was fine. It's not his fault that they lost or anything like that. No, and he wears a C. He's supposed to be a captain. He stinks. Yep. Right. But you know what? He's still a good player. But I'm just so over him at this point.
His mentality shit. It's just shit.
Yes, Josiah Scott. Correct. Thank you, Vince. Yeah, there was I don't even remember the freaking situation, but I just remember that it was.
I'm trying to find it, but
whatever. All right, whatever. So CJGJ happy. I thought it was good. I'm excited to have him back. So that was.
I think he's a different bigger type player, even if it's for 1 year.
All right, let me see. What else did we want to do here? All right, so Black Gritty's gonna. Where is Black Gritty? Is he on the? No, he's not dialed in yet. So I wanted to get him on the Eagles before we wrap it up and we talk about the Fanatic lineup changes. And we're going to finish up with Unpopular Opinion, where I read an unpopular opinion, something deemed unpopular, and we decide whether or not it should be unpopular. So let's play the Sammy Sosa thing, and we'll give Gritty a minute before we move on here. So who is this guy that said this? I got to look this up real fast. So this is totally random and out of nowhere, but I saw it and I'm like, you know what? I got to play this because I don't know, man. It's weird. So this is Lou Canales, sports anchor at Fox in Chicago. And I guess he's also like a play-by-play announcer and some other stuff. So this is Sammy Sosa. Steve, where does it look like he is? Like outside like
it's got to be like a hotel or some kind of
an event where
like venue hall or something
where the cameras are there because there's notable people like Sammy Sosa there. So then they go up and they try to get. It's like John Clark coming out of the in the airport where all of a sudden he jumps out of nowhere and he's interviewing him. So here's Sammy Sosa. Just listen to how this went down.
For you and Tom Ricketts to sit down to get back into their good graces?
Well, like I say, I'm a mature man. I think that it's a possibility that we can do that. I'm open. I don't have a problem with that. I have, like I said, I have a lot of misunderstanding in the past, but now I'm a real man. I feel great, so I recognize my mistake. So hey, why not?
Are you telling me that you recognize the fact that maybe you did do steroids?
Wow.
Maybe you did do steroids.
Wow. We'll play it till. Wow. Is that really?
Ask the question.
Is that really necessary?
At least say, did you do steroids?
By the way, I never sent BG the link, Black Radio the link, so I just sent it to him. He's gonna join us. Is that really necessary in the year 2024? Well, I mean, was anybody expecting that?
Do steroids? Is that you recognize the fact that maybe you did do steroids?
This is like I say,
that is so disrespectful.
This is not a question that I expected from you.
Yeah, good way to answer it. And I didn't see how it ended after that. Like, listen, man, it's obvious he did steroids. It's obvious that 70% of the league was doing steroids. I think it's pretty well known that he did steroids. He's not going to be in the Hall of Fame. Is it really necessary? I mean, Sammy Sosa doesn't deserve that question like that on camera out of nowhere. That was a really shitty thing to do.
And again, like I said, if you're going to ask the question, at least have the balls to just come out and say, "Hey, are you saying that because you did steroids?" Question mark. Not. Oh, let me tiptoe around this. And like maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But if you want to tell me, like I don't know.
But a lot of people, I saw this on in the replies to the video. A lot of people are like, F Sammy. It's like, all right, man. Like just because he did steroids, like a lot of Major League Baseball players, he's got to be. I mean, that's an ambush question. That's not necessary. That's bullshit.
Yeah. And he knows the answer. You know the answer. Let's sweep it. That's stupid to me.
All right. Well, listen, Black Gritty.
There he is.
From blackgritty.com joins us live from his home studio. Black Gritty, what's up, brother?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing? First thing I just want to say real quick, Sammy Sosa gave me so much joy in that era. I know people were doing stuff they shouldn't have been doing, but my goodness, I had like the best time of my life watching baseball on TV for 4-hour games. And once they did away with it, I couldn't wait to get to these 2-hour games because I couldn't watch it anymore. So, Sammy, whatever you did, God bless you. I appreciate you. Knock on wood. Don't tell nobody nothing.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny, Gritty, because one of the things I used to say when people talked about the timing of the game, it's not because the time of the game, it's because there's no action in the game and the games go on forever. We weren't complaining about 3.5-hour games, 4-hour games.
Yeah, we're home run derbies.
Well, but you know what? It wasn't just home runs. There was action within the game. There was stealing, there was doubles, there was triples, there was actual action.
Yeah. It was a time that you could sit there and it didn't matter. And nothing was out of reach. You could be down 5 runs, and I'm like, I'm watching ninth inning. Like, I'm not letting go right now. Like that's the whole game was complete. So I mean, again, I know that it's not right. I know it's not wrong, but some days I wish for it back. And I'm glad now we're in this 2-hour era where dudes aren't
too, man,
all the time. So I mean, but yeah, leave that man alone asking these dumb questions out here.
All right. Well, listen, Black Gritty, you are known to be I won't say a hater of Howie, but certainly you are skeptical of Howie Roseman. And when things start to fall apart, you're one of the first to focus on Howie. How do you think free agency has went so far?
It's okay. Like, Johnny Marks, you're a good father. So when I say that you're a good dad, or other people say that you're a good dad, it's cool. But if you walk around every day saying, I'm a good dad, I'm like, well, you got kids. You're supposed to be a good dad. That's the minimum requirement. So Howie running around telling me he's a football guy and pounding his chest, I'm like, bro, do your job. So right now, Rotisserie Roseman is what I call him. He's simmering. You know, I like a lot of the moves that he's making. He's not done cooking yet. He's got a veteran DC and a veteran OC. So hopefully he can't mess up in the draft. Hopefully he's going to listen to elder statesmen say, I want this and I want that. And it doesn't matter whose son he is, because I know everybody wants Trotter, but I'd rather have that linebacker out of Texas A&M, depending on where we're drafting and where we're looking at. But I get the names, but I don't want Howie doing what Howie does. I want Howie listening to his coaches and giving them what they need. And I think that's what he's doing so far.
Saquon Barkley, good or bad?
Saquon Barkley's great. Howie pays running backs if they're sexy. He pays shady. You know what I mean? He's just like, it's the same thing when you try to date a girl. She's like, I'm not dating right now. Then you go look at her Instagram. She's at a 5-star restaurant you could never take her to. Yeah, she's not dating you right now. But she's taking dates. You know what I'm saying? So when Howie goes out there, I'm not paying running backs. Yeah, I'm not paying Swift, who's injured 99% of the time. Right. He had one shining moment behind our great offensive line. I'm not paying Boobie Miles, who fumbles, runs out of bounds, don't know what down it is, and can't block for anything. But Saquon Barkley, who does all of the above and has thunder thighs for tush pushes, just like my quarterback, oh yeah, I'll sprinkle some shekels on him now that they gave me a $50 million boost in the cap. No problem. So again, Howie, the one thing I'll give Howie credit for is money. Look, he could balance my checkbook any day of the week. Howie is a stay-at-home mom with a coupon book. He can make it happen, Captain. So the money is where I trust him at. And right now, I hope he's out here shopping with the defensive coordinator and the offensive coordinator in mind, because we know Nick Sirianni ain't got no involvement.
Well, I mean, you're right. Howie, the good GM Howie's not a talent evaluator. He's a guy that makes moves and is able to make things happen. But you know, Saquon Barkley is pretty much getting the same contract of Gabe Davis. Right. So if you're the Eagles, would you think the Jags are going to get great value out of Gabe Davis, or the Eagles are going to get better value out of Saquon Barkley? Eagles better get better value out of Saquon Barkley.
They better. And not for nothing. I mean, I know he's not going to do it, but if anything would get Kelsey wanting to come back, I'm like, look, he's like, man, I ain't had nothing like that since Shady on a consistent basis, and not for nothing. And shout out to Shady, he was great. But Saquon is special. And he's been playing on that crappy turf. You know, he's had fake blue injuries. I try to tell people, like, he's injured all the time. Like, look, when your team's got 5 wins, do you think you want to play the last 3 games there? Or are you going to say my calf hurts? Okay. Other than the Achilles, there's been a lot of like fugazi injuries where it's just like, bro, we're not winning. Why would I play the rest of these games?
When you won't give me a contract. Yes,
exactly.
It is understandable. All right. So this is like the end of the first wave of free agency. As we know, there'll be additional signings. Feels like that they're done for the most part. Now we have the draft coming up. As it sits right now, do you believe the Eagles have put themselves back in position to be considered a top 2 team in the NFC? So you have the 49ers, you have the Eagles, and then you have another team, and they're the best teams in the NFC.
It's always going to be that way. I know it ended poorly last year, and I know people are down on Jalen Hurts, but I tell you what, for all the grace that somebody like Justin Herbert gets, who's never won anything, never did anything, was up 5 touchdowns in the first half and then threw 5 interceptions in the second half, and people just love Justin Herbert. He's always in the top 10. Jalen Hurts has one half of a down season when he was in the MVP hunt up to week 11, and we hope he gets back to, guess what? He's a stone cold killer, and if you give him these extra weapons and you give him a competent offensive coordinator, he'll be fine. And I don't care if he's a super game manager. He's one that can run. He's one that can handle the city. Everybody wants these quarterbacks to come here. Philadelphia is rough. Gardner Johnson, guess what? They stole his car. If my dude wants to complain running out of here, it's totally fine because we got an attitude every week with people that we love talking trash about him. You know what I'm saying? I love Brandon Graham. I still talk trash every once in a while. I got blocked on Twitter for a week. You know what I'm saying? And I love the man. So I'm just saying, him talking about us on the way out, I get it. It's totally fine. But for Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts is my quarterback. He is the guy who can handle this city. I'm bringing in somebody else, another guy you think's going to do something. Guess what? He can't handle you, me, and them. But Jalen can. So bring him here, leave him here, and I'll tell you about Pickett, too, if you want to ask me the question.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's hear it.
Why do I got a problem? When we get rid of people, remember when Deshaun
Wind
Jackson,
them up, baby.
Remember when Deshaun Jackson was a trash panda, a thug gangster, and never did nothing to nobody, but on the way out, we were kicking him in the back. Remember when Shady McCoy was a demon, had a problem, kicking him in the back? I mean, so now you want to, Delco Steve, nice to meet you. You out here talking about, well, if he's got the right attitude. The Steelers ain't done a quarterback right in the last 10 years. Mediocre Mike ain't did nothing but go 8-8, and I love him to death. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mike. But I'm saying, bro, you got a Super Bowl off the back of a previous Super Bowl and ain't did nothing for the offense in 10 years. So Pickett coming here for 2 years and looking bad or not good, well, you fired your offensive coordinator in the middle of the season. Maybe that's not helping your young guy develop. I know he's got terrible. I know he's got tiny hands, but guess what? He made it to the NFL. He did pretty good things in college. So bring him here to the QB factory. Let him sit on the bench for the night shift and learn something behind a good organization. Put him behind a good offensive line, Saquon Barkley, Thundercats on the wide receiver position, and a Lion at the tight end spot. And guess what? Pickett might look like somebody out here in these streets. So I'm not saying he's the greatest. I'm not saying he's the GOAT, but I'm saying he's a guy who could cover the night shift if needed be by the time it's requested and required of him, maybe week 10, week 11, when Hurts is dinged up for a second. I'm just saying. I'm not upset.
I didn't remember his hands being as small as the pictures that I have there. See, where's the gloves?
They two gloves.
They make other things look big too.
They certainly do.
2 gloves. Yeah,
look how big that football is.
Yeah, if you don't have the gloves on, it looks bad. I think his gloves are even padded when he has the gloves on. I think it's
sure. When it gets cold, he's the last guy that wants to be playing.
Yeah, they're like mitts.
All right, couple other things here. So you are a purveyor of sports radio in Philadelphia and elsewhere, but you listen to both stations. You know, when I worked at the other station, you listened to me on the other station, WIP. Yep. You listened to me. Your thoughts on Mike Missanelli? And they didn't announce. So they announced today that Andrew Zalchunas moving the mornings with John Kincaid, and now Bob Cooney's going to be working middays with an unnamed partner who I'm reporting is Mike Missanelli. Once they finalize the deal, what are your thoughts on what's going on at the Fanatic, Gritty?
So I miss Mike. Hopefully he learned his lesson. He can reel himself back in. You know, he is a staple in the city, and he is a voice of many people, but sometimes that voice gets carried away, and hopefully this little break reels that little part of him back in. As far as the Kincaid, I can't stand Kincaid. I told him to his face, I like him as a human being, happy with all the things he's done, surviving and doing what he does.
For
he's
sure.
a great person, but listening to him is annoying to me. So letting the young Thundercat Tunis, who I love with all my heart, go there in the morning is really hurting me, but I hope it helps him, because there's a lot of people that he's the old man in the cloud. He says things and stuff like my friend's grandpa would say about sports. And I'm like, bro, you know, we got computers now, right? You still got rabbit ears, or we got 4K. So hopefully some fresh blood with a elder statesman like Tunis who will push back will make the show fun and things will work out. But I am happy to hear that if it's Mike Miss back every day, I'll be checking him out because I do like him.
It is it's great for a sports radio listener, Mike being back. You have options, you know what I mean? Like a lot of us jump around and listen to both stations, and maybe you don't listen to a station during a certain time because you don't like that particular show. But Mike had always been my favorite even before we worked together, and I still think he's great. Now, do I think that he's going to avoid politics? I think he's going to try to avoid politics. Do I think if Donald Trump is elected again that he will avoid that? I don't believe that
Probably
will happen.
Probably not.
But you have to know going in that it could get a little rocky.
And so just for the people here that know that I do call both stations, and my favorite thing is like, I can't, you called the other station, and then both sides said, I'm like, so you know the hosts know that I call the other stations, right? And they don't care. You know the host used to work at WIP, and the other one used to work at 975, and vice versa, and they switch. And I tell people all the time, like, and I've told you, you know, I'm not trying to be number one caller. I'm a professional caller. I like sports. And depending on where the conversation is, that's where I like to check in. And that's why I kicked in the door and I'm bothering you guys tonight because I like this conversation that's going on. And I wanted to hang out with people that I enjoy talking sports with. But, you know, everybody's got their favorites. And my thing is, I like the conversation. So even when there's people I don't like, I like to listen to them just to get a different viewpoint and outlook on things.
I agree.
That's how you learn.
The cousin Black Gritty is priceless radio. After a big 76er win, Black Gritty on about 10 minutes, 15 minutes into the show is priceless radio.
Man, look, you talk about missing somebody. Man, look, I text him randomly just to tell him how much I miss him. Because you know what he is? Because he was in that movie, the Netflix movie, and he did the little part or whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm like, when I die, if you're still alive, do my eulogy. Like if there's a girl that I want to go out with that I can't attain, come with me and be my hype man. Just introduce me. Just say my name, get me charged up, and let me go take over the world. Because when he says my name, when he brings me on, sometimes I'll be just mad and I'm trying to be and then he just always brings that.
Oh, Black Gold, what's up, BG?
Yeah, deep in these streets, you know where he is. I'm like, I'm mad right now, and you done made me all hyped up. So, man, I miss him. I miss him so much.
Well, you can. I believe you're going to be able to find him where he's now working. He's rumors of perhaps a daily show coming up after his whatever his contractual stuff clears here at the end of the month. Coming.
Winter's almost over. April's coming.
Yeah, it sure is. All right. So and just to be clear, they didn't announce it today, and what I was told was, and Delco Steve, I'm making them angry over there because they're like, who's giving them this information? I'm like, who? Like you should get a checklist. Yeah. So I was
everyone.
I was a part of a couple of conversations amongst management and stuff, being like, could someone stop talking to him and telling him stuff?
You were in the memo.
It wasn't an email. It was just a conversation.
Oh, okay.
It said, so they announced a new lineup. They did not mention Mike Miss's name at the staff meeting. So there was no mention of his name, but they said that they are adding a talent to work with Bob Cooney middays. So everybody, it's like when Jason Kelsey didn't retire and everybody was mad. It was like, shut up, Adam Schefter. He's not retiring. He didn't say it yet. Did anybody believe he wasn't going to retire?
Yeah.
He was retired. So who knows? Like Mike wants to get back on the air. Let's face it. Mike misses being on the air. I think Mike needs to be on the air.
He needs to be on the air. His voice is needed.
Yep. I agree. So what happened with Spike today? I saw a couple people mention this. You and Spike going back and forth?
Yeah, Spike's just, matter of fact, this is your fault. This is your problem. Right. So the show, you built a show in an environment of violence. I Rios, I like violence, not promote it. You and I created a crawl-on caller crime with Jack, where callers would talk trash to each other and there'd be little infighting and little back shots and stuff all the time, right?
Right.
So today, Chuck went on a rant about OG Wade for 2 minutes, and Spike didn't stop him. He didn't check Chuck, but when Chuck got off, he's like, I've got to start telling people how the show's supposed to work. And you better come on and talk about the topic first and then have your side conversations. And that's the way it's going to be. I'm putting my foot down. I'm like, oh, but you didn't put your foot down with Chuck, though, huh? You see, certain people be punking down to Chuck. But then OG Wade come on, he's like, this is how the show's supposed to be. Not come on, he's trying to tell me, well, this is how you don't have anything to say. That's why I was like, bro, I know the game. I got a lot to say. I'm just telling you that you're not going to tell me how my calls are going to go. You know what I mean? Just I had to tell Jack. As soon as Jack took your spot, he's stepping, talking all over me. I'm like, bro, I talk for 2 minutes and hang up on myself. You know what I'm saying?
You got to learn it, though.
You got to teach him. I told him off air. I'm like, look, when you're watching a commercial and it's about Dawn Soap, does Palm Olive interrupt? He's like, no. I'm like, yes, I am Dawn Soap. I got a 2-minute commercial. Let me pump my iron, and then I'm gonna get off. You know me. I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna hang around. He let her have a whole segment for 8 minutes. I was driving in my car. I almost drove into a ditch. I'm like, what? How do you reel him in?
Well, we put him on for 30 minutes, Delco Steve. So that's 8 minutes.
Yeah, we really tortured ourselves for that.
Yeah, you guys are free living out here. You know what I mean? You're not on the radio. Yeah,
we are
literally living free.
So just to wrap up the Fanatic conversation, I would be flabbergasted if Mike was not the midday host. And I don't know the timetable. This is common in the business. It happened, I think, with Anthony when everybody knew Ant was coming to the Fanatic, and it was like, oh, they were expecting him to start a certain day, and it's like, yeah, we're still working on the contract. When you have an agent, the agent is trying to hold out for as much money as possible, obviously. So,
yeah.
So there you go. I fired my agent, and look, I'm unemployed now. So maybe I should have kept my agent, BG.
Look how that went.
He would have advised me to do everything that I everything that I haven't.
But you can get Nathan back. You can get another agent. You know what I mean?
No, I'm my agent. I'm gonna be good, man.
All right.
He's going on Lamar Jackson right now.
I'm going to be good. I got a couple weeks left of a non-compete, and then we're going to start cooking. All right. So can you stick around to play Unpopular Opinion?
Sure.
BG?
Yep. I'm you know me, I'm pre-retired. I got all the time in the world.
I know you do. All right. What did we use last time, Steve, as the music Feeding the Ducks?
Yes.
All right. So it's pretty simple. I am going to give you both what's considered an unpopular opinion. And where it is right there, unpopular opinion. And then you're going to say whether or not you think it's unpopular. All right?
Yep.
All right. Number one, Costco is overrated.
That is unpopular opinion.
That's false.
Do you agree with it?
No.
False.
I think Costco is totally overrated.
I love bulk shopping. Give me bulk shopping.
I don't like bulk shopping. I like discount shopping. Costco doesn't make it any cheaper. And trust me, I go to more grocery stores than anybody that you know on a weekly basis. And I added another to the rotation, Aldi, because there's one up the street. Their produce is good and it is inexpensive. I save money on. My kids eat strawberries and blueberries and raspberries and everything. I save like $10 on produce a week.
Costco's overrated. You are shopping more than I am. I have an Acme 2 blocks away from me. I'm literally in there every day because I buy 3 things at a time, overpriced.
Yep.
I hate food shopping. So if I can get everything at once and not have to go back for a month and a half, great.
Well, I know that I'm wrong. Almost everything with this is I'm going to be on the wrong side of things. Everybody loves Costco because, like you said, Delco Steve, you buy bulk, you don't have to go back for 3 weeks. Yep. I'm like Black Gritty. I'm at grocery stores almost every day.
If I forget to stop on my way home, I ain't going back out. That's my thing.
All right. Next unpopular opinion. I like the smell of cigarettes.
What? Who says that?
Do you like the smell of cigarettes?
No.
I smoked cigarettes and I hated the smell of cigarettes.
All right. Not people after they smoke cigarettes. The actual smell. Occasionally, Black Gritty, I'll get a whiff of a cigarette when I'm, let's say, like walking into a restaurant or wherever, and it'll take me back to taking a big drag. Like, Delco Steve's fiending right now for a cigarette.
So what I will say to that is I don't smoke, never smoked. My dad was pumping them out. And I will say, when you just said that, there were many days as a kid where I was just sniffing Newport menthols, and I can smell it in my nose right now.
The nostalgia just came back.
Yeah, just a fresh, unslit cigarette You know, like my dad used to send me to the corner store. The guy knew me. He used to send me to get cigarettes. And it's the funniest thing in the world. As a kid, you know, you take one out, you put it in your mouth, you're sniffing it. And I do remember loving that smell because I thought, this is cool. I get a whole cigarette.
Wait, are we talking about like a fresh cigarette or like a lit
Fresh.
cigarette?
A
Like
fresh
not
Newport.
no, like I'm saying not lit. You're just saying the
Not
smell
lit.
of a cigarette.
You smell of a cigarette. Smell
The
of a
paper
cigarette.
smells good. The menthol of the
Alright,
Newport
okay.
smells minty.
The menthol
I can
smells
see it.
minty. It smells cool and fresh. I can smell it.
I
when
couldn't tell you.
think about it.
I couldn't tell you if I've ever just whiffed a
You know what?
cigarette before.
I'm
it was
gonna
lit.
I'm gonna go buy a pack of cigarettes. I haven't had a cigarette in a long time. I'm gonna start smoking again.
Oh, see, now y'all about to be chain smokers. About to bring that old thing back. Y'all gonna be on here like, yeah, unpopular opinion. We
Yeah, when we come in on Monday with the raspy voice.
we made a mistake back in 24.
All right, unpopular opinion. Ranch is better for fries than ketchup.
Oh, I'm in on that one.
Yes, 1,000%. And if you put
Yeah.
cheese on it, no doubt. 100%.
You could what, cheese whiz and ranch,
Yeah, melted
or
cheese.
like
cheese,
mozzarella
Colby
cheese fries.
yeah,
Okay.
I think,
Yeah,
take any
melted.
Oh no, so
Maz.
so the Colby Jack, totally agree with the ranch on top of it. It's like you're eating nachos except
yes,
the cheese fries or the nachos.
like Outback, Lone Star, all the restaurant days that put the Kobe Jack on there with the ranch. Woo, that buttermilk be kicking.
I love Maz cheese with mozzarella cheese fries with ranch. Oh, bacon
With ranch.
Oh, God.
So I like cheese whiz with ketchup.
I
And
mean,
I would agree
real
with-
cheese whiz too.
If you're mixing whiz with one of them, I would go ketchup.
yes,
Yeah.
But if it's
And it has to
melted,
be
if it's like a real cheese melted, then ranch.
yes.
I worked at I worked at cheesesteak places a lot when I was younger, and the real Kraft Cheese Whiz, you can't, because it's expensive too. So a lot of the pizza shops that make cheesesteaks and cheese fries, they'll get the cheese sauce, which
The
tastes,
nacho cheese.
oh, it's terrible.
It's gross.
It's terrible.
It's got that weird spice in it.
And I'm the guy, it does have that weird spice. I'm the guy that when he calls a place that I'm unsure of, I'll ask the girl that answers the phone, hey, do you use real cheese whiz or is it imitation cheese sauce? And then you get the silence.
They don't know the answer.
Of course they don't. So then they go back and
Yeah.
ask, and the idiot in the back doesn't know the answer. So then I don't end up getting it. But
They just say they have the real stuff, and then when you get it, you're like, this isn't the real stuff.
Somebody clip that audio. I'm Johnny Marks. They call me Weird Sauce.
oh, and like Steve's Prince of Steaks, American cheese fries, they melt the American cheese
Oh,
and
I
they pour
love
it on
that.
like cheese whiz. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Now I got to go get fries.
They-
Y'all are killing me.
They had that honor when I was there. It was awesome.
Mm. All right. Unpopular opinion. Small businesses are too expensive, so I don't buy from them.
Oh,
So
they are, but that's not the reason I don't buy from them.
I'll give you an example. A hardware store. Like up the street from me, there's the True Value, the Trap True Value. The family's owned it for like 25 years. You go in there, they greet you at the door. They'll help you with anything that you need. They are more expensive. So I will go there for the everyday stuff. But if I'm making a major purchase, I go to Lowe's, which is down the street. But I mean, I think it's worth paying a little bit extra to support small businesses.
I have no problem with small businesses, especially if I'm on the quick or it's the only thing available or it's closest, because they care and it matters to them. They know your name. They start talking to you. They're following you around. When I ask for something, when they go into the back, they don't just walk in the door, stand there for 30 seconds, come back and tell me it's not there. They're back there hunting, taking something off of a shelf and taking it apart and then giving it to me and saying, hey, we didn't have any more, but I took it off the shelf because you done been in here 42 times in the last year. I'm taking care of my people. So I support small businesses.
And Delco Steve doesn't. He goes right to Home Depot and says "fuck you" to the.
He's
small
Costco man. He's a
business.
big box guy.
Yeah.
Give me,
I work
give me Amazon where I don't have to go talk to
They
anyone and
look
just
at
go
you.
right to my
Look
front
at
door.
you. This was wrong with America, Steve. You're killing America.
I do the same thing with Amazon, but if it's something I'm going to buy, the great thing is with Amazon, most of the shit gets here the next day. So you just be like,
Yeah, if I don't need it that second, I'm going to Amazon.
And
Nine
you
times
know
out
what
of
my
10.
favorite thing about Amazon is? What I realize as a person who makes a lot of money online, those people are going to the store, buying the same thing that you want for half the price, putting it on Amazon and then selling it twice the price, and you're so excited to get it the next day instead of going that day and getting it yourself, you're paying an extreme markup on 90% of your items anymore. So cool. I mean, I get it. Marks, you got 92 kids at home and you don't have the time. I get Amazon, but I've been finding myself a lot looking online and then looking. If I went to go to Walmart on Thursday, this $12 thing is $6. Why am I paying double the price? Because it's the convenience of Amazon.
Yeah, Walmart is on my weekly list. I go to Walmart every week.
Rotation.
Yeah, once or twice a week.
Yeah, well, you're a shopper, so we can't compete with that.
Dude, those Chobani flip cups, you can get them for $1.18 they cost $1.18 in a 4-pack. And Wegmans, they're $2 at Giant. That's 80 cents a yogurt.
You should become a couponer. You can have a really popping TikTok right now. You can be making a lot of money. Tell
tomorrow,
people how to shop and save.
I have to drop some stuff off at the post office. On my way home, I need AA batteries. And I got a red hot 30% off coupon at CVS, which is right by the post office. I can't wait.
It's going down.
Bam! I got some extra bucks rewards. I'll get those batteries almost free.
That's how you get Johnny Marks going, boy. He got a glass of wine and a pair of scissors and the newspaper. He is out here like, hey, baby, you know what I saved this week? I saved $17, baby. Look at the man.
Feels good, man. All right, a couple more here. The black cookie part of the Oreo is better than the frosting.
No.
That's racist and not true.
I think you need both together. I think you need both together to make it good. Is what I think. I don't want the frosting. I don't take it off and lick the frosting. And I don't want just the black cookie. You need both of them.
Here's how that works. If you take the cookie and dunk it in milk whole, you eat the whole cookie. If you take the cookie apart and eat the frosting, that thing is trash and it goes in the fucking trash can. No one's eating just the cookie once you eat the cream, but you'll eat the cream with the cookie. You see what I'm saying? So the cream is more important than the cookie. You
gotta watch your wording there, Gritty.
Hey, look, I'm trying to get clear. I'm trying to go viral out here, Steve. This is how you go viral. I can't edit myself.
Gritty's playing soggy cookie over here.
If it was on my show, it'd be different. Well, I'm out here with y'all. You know what I mean? I'm just out here being reckless. You know what I mean? Trying to get my views up.
All right. What's your number one cookie? If I said right now, I'm going to bring you cookies over to your house. Delco Steve, start with you.
The black and white cookies. They're great.
They're
my
awful.
favorite. I love them.
That is a grandma cookie, but that's like next to a raisin cookie. That's
his last name's Gallo. That's why he says it.
Okay. Never mind. I understand. That's like a family crime if you don't say the black and white cookie. I get it.
I love me a double stuffed Oreo though.
Don't backtrack now. You already done put yourself in a hole.
We're gonna go with Oreos. You got to do it right with the double stuff.
Hey, look, he said any cookie, and you dug a hole.
No, I just wanted to get my Oreo comment in.
Can you go store brand Oreo? Can you go store brand Wegmans brand Oreo? Yes. High drops.
No.
Yes.
No.
I'm not trying to live that long. I'm trying to check out a 65. It's got to be store brand.
I'm with Gritty on this one.
I'll just take a chocolate chip cookie with the chunk. The softer, the better. The gooier, the better. Chocolate chip all day. I'm old school.
The Pepperidge Farm ones in the paper bag. Some of those cookies that come in there are unbelievable, man.
Yeah,
they're delicious. All right, unpopular opinion: the airport is awesome.
One that goes in your favor. When you get to sit in the bar in your flight on time.
I always love going to the airport.
People watching is great.
Once you get through security or whatever, and then you can go to a bar, you can people watch. There's people from all over the place. When planes exit and you get like 100 people that are coming out, and don't tell they're from Texas or something. I don't know. I always like going to the airport. I've been stranded. I slept in the Atlanta airport last year and I got COVID coming back from Clearwater. I love the airport, minus that. Black Ready?
So I've been all over the world. I've been in many international places, Germany, China, France. I've been in a whole bunch of places. I'm the worst person to travel with. I don't give a shit about airports. I hate the point of traveling. I go on vacations and I'm sitting there with a beautiful woman and she's like, why are you not happy? I'm like, why would I be happy? Are my feet in the sand? Have we landed yet? Maybe I get bumped from my flight. Maybe the flight is delayed. I don't know. Maybe the plane goes down. I will be happy once we land where we're going. And then I'll be unhappy again on the way back home because I'm coming back home. So the airport is not really a fun place for me to be. I don't drink. I'm just sitting there waiting to get to my destination. It is just a to B kind of thing for me.
I think it's an unpopular opinion for most people.
Yeah.
Vacation starts as soon as you get through security in my book.
See, you're one of those. Everybody
Me
else is
too.
like that. People hate me. When I travel, people are like, "Yo, bro," I'm like, "Nah, man. Give me."
Well,
down.
if you don't drink, that's unfortunate. By the time I get on the plane, I'm pretty sauced up. I'm ready to go and I'm gonna pass out.
Look, this is why I'm here
Not
for
me.
you. Okay, look, plane goes down. I'm out here Kung Fu Panda, and you're out here drooling all over yourself, asking what happened.
I'll be the guy that lives though, because I'll wake up and be like, "What the hell happened?" And I'll be fine without my seatbelt on too. By the way.
Yeah, I try to leave the seatbelt unbuckled too. Just not comfortable. Dude,
let me tell you one little secret too. As a fat man, or anybody who's big who's listening,
The extender.
dude.
So you got to ask for, like, the first time I ever got on a plane, and he's like, "You want an extender?" And I was like, "I don't need an extender." Now that thing, it'd be tight on me. But she asked me for an extender, and I was like, "No, I don't need one." Guess what I did? I went out there, I went online, I found out you can order an extender. I take my own extenders in my suitcase, and now when I get on my flights, I got my own extender. You need an extender? I'm like, "Nah, girl. You know, I just look big. You know what I'm saying? I got this. You can check my belt. I'm good." So
You can't get away with not wearing it either if they already are asking you if you need the extender.
exactly. So
They're already looking at you.
you're too big. You ain't gonna make it. That's how they're looking at me. You ain't gonna make it.
At least they're not asking you for a second seat, Gertie.
Hey, look, that's what I'm trying to keep it from that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, have my own extender doesn't make them look good. You know what I mean? Like, girl, I'm good. I'm like, really? Okay, yeah. I just look big.
I didn't even think it from that perspective of you're uncomfortable on a plane if you're like me. You know, like the Delco Steve's only 5'2", so he doesn't.
Whoa!
Yeah,
I'm not Pat Egan.
All right, you're talking about that.
One last
But
thing,
anyway.
like Vince in your chat, he's 6'8". I got on a plane one time with a guy who was at least 6'6", 6'8", and he was just a big man. And I'm sitting there like, he couldn't do anything. I was like, "Dude, you want the window?" And he was like, "No, I want the aisle." And he was his arm
Because half his body can be out of the aisle. It's more comfortable in the aisle.
Yes, and the other half of his body was in my neck, and I couldn't do anything because I'm fat. I'm always like squished up on people anyways. I'm just sitting there the whole time like his elbow right here, and I'm like, damn, like
You must hate the airport.
I do, bro. I'm just trying to get right.
You should have told him to buy you a drink, but again, that's not a problem for you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we'll do this one. Last one. Parmesan cheese sprinkled on top of pasta doesn't make it better.
Terrible take.
Who doesn't like Parmesan cheese?
Give me all the cheese. Cheese is my favorite food.
Extra Parmesan cheese.
What's the commercial where the guy's like, "Tell me when you're done," and the guy's just covered in cheese? That's me. That's how I want to eat my dinner. I covered in cheese.
I tell the waitress when I look, just bring me the block and leave. That's all. Bring me the bucket and leave. Don't even. I'm gonna save your elbow. Okay, just drop it off and go away. Because at some point I need to re-cheese, bro.
Yeah, you eat the top layer. You got to get another layer.
You need more cheese, yes. After the stir.
So when they don't, you know what I'm doing? I'm out here tossing and flossing. I'm like, hit it again. Back. Hit it again. At least 3 times. You know what I mean? Like I said, I got to have that cheese. I got to have that cheese.
Now,
where are you pulling these from? These are terrible takes.
Exactly. Now, Steve, do you ask for when you go to Olive Garden? Do you?
First off, I don't go to frickin' Olive Garden. That's below me.
That's why I said it. So hang on a second. What's wrong? I know you're Italian. What's wrong with Olive Garden?
It's trash. Get out of here. It's trash.
So I will tell you,
Olive Garden.
Olive Garden is trash, but I go there every year for my birthday, and it's great trash. It is trash. I get the gnocchi soup. It's unlimited. I get my bread, and my favorite thing, especially if I get a female waitress, I hit them with the, "Can I get your number?" And then they say no, and I was like, "Well, since I can't get your number, why don't you go ahead and hit me with some extra chocolates?" And the one time, the girl gave me her number and a full coffee cup full of chocolates.
There you go.
I don't even need to call you, but I might call you for some more of these chocolates, okay? So there's little things the Olive Garden be doing right. You know, most of it's the gnocchi soup. I'll tell you, I order the food and half the time I don't even eat it, or I eat it.
Well, the salad. I just load up on the salad because it's unlimited and good, and then I'll get chicken parm, and they give you 2 chicken breasts. I'll eat one of the breasts, and I'll take the other one home and eat it later. So it's a good value. I love it.
It is basic bitch food.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's B minus. It's a B minus meal, Delco Steve.
There was an incident at the Olive Garden by me in Springfield where someone was doing something unsavory to the salad dressing. I'm just gonna leave it at that. And so I haven't been back to Olive Garden since I heard that story.
You can't be putting that out there. Blackgirl, does he realize what he's doing putting that out
It was
there?
like 20 years ago. I haven't been to Olive Garden in 20 years.
Okay.
It was when I was in high school.
Statute of limitations complete. You're all right. You're all right.
Yeah,
all right, 15 years ago. I haven't been to Olive Garden in a decade and a half.
You go to Red Lobster?
I don't like seafood.
I haven't been to Red Lobster in a while, not because I wouldn't. I just haven't.
You ain't had no cheddar biscuits in a while, baby.
And there's one in King of Prussia not too far.
I don't think I've ever stepped a foot in a Red Lobster.
Really?
If you like seafood, there's no reason for you to.
Yeah, not at all.
Just go in there and get cheddar biscuits. They're slamming.
Cheddar biscuits are good.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
You're laughing. Give me your
they're
address.
they're really good.
Some cheddar biscuits. I'm gonna go and just buy.
See, cheddar biscuit sounds fantastic to me, but everything else there sounds like I would not enjoy it.
Dude, the cheddar biscuits are amazing.
Yeah, Dwayne from Swedesboro was a big fan of the cheddar biscuits from Red Lobster, if you remember, Gritty. Speaking of Dwayne from Swedesboro, Pat Egan is part of the lineup move with the Fanatic, moves to nights. So he is now at night. And Andrew Salchunas with John Kincaid. I texted Andrew congratulations. I guess he had given me a shout out on the air.
Yeah.
Maybe Kincaid ripped me or something. Someone else was saying. So, probably deserved. But
I missed that. I was listening when they were on there, but I might have missed it.
Well, no, Kevin Kincaid said that he texted me. He said that John took a shot at me. I don't think it was like a big shot, but I've been honest and said that the show's been, the show hasn't been successful. So that's just all I was saying. Yeah. So we'll see what it sounds like with Chunas. I love Andrew and I listen to him. I'm not in the car a lot in the morning. And if I'm going to be in the car in the morning, I ain't going to be listening to that show. I can just tell you that right now. I don't get up in the morning. I don't call the morning show. The camera's not my guy. So I don't in the morning is not really my jam anyway, but I try every once in a while. I do have my phone alert set for when Seltzer's hosting. I do wake up early when he's hosting. I'll call you.
Games.
Not a guy. All right. Well, listen, Black Gritty, good to talk to you, buddy.
Thanks for having me on. Steve,
it was a pleasure.
Get your cookie game up. Get your life together. Get a cigarette. Watch
it.
Get
out of here. Get out of here.
Stop being against small hands, bro. Stop being a hands.
I'm team small hands, dude.
You need to adjust your attitude when you talk to me, okay? Watch your Pickett language out here. You know what I mean? Give my man a chance. Don't be spreading false slander about our new Philadelphia Eagle. Watch
Kenny Pickett's hands would look ginormous compared to my hands.
I don't know. We need to measure them.
Let's put a black and white cookie in his hand. Let's see what happens.
How many black and white cookies across?
That's right. We got to measure it out.
If you give me a stack, I can hold a lot of them, I swear.
All right, BJ.
Thanks.
Later, buddy.
Thanks, Gritty.
There he is, Black Gritty. Excuse me, before we get out of here, the annual Sunshine and Bubbles 5K is coming up. It's next Sunday. All right.
We got good weather as of now.
The Nicole Gallo 5K run, walk, 1 mile kids fun run. No,
sorry. Earlier, I looked at the weather earlier. It said 59 and sunny. I'm like, great. Now it says 48 and 50% chance of rain.
Yeah, but you can't look that far out.
I know. I like to get excited. I like to get my highs and lows going now. It's like a bet. No,
it's understandable. Let me see here. Yeah, it's not looking great right now. Well, if you look at after tomorrow, the weather pretty much sucks for the Sunday's not bad, but then you're in the 40s and 50s after that. Whatever. The spring's such 50s. The spring's such a tease because my kids wanted to wear shorts, and I'm like, no, you're not wearing shorts just yet. And then they're like, everybody had shorts on today, so I was like, all right, you can wear them tomorrow. But then I'm like, it's not going to stay warm like this, right? They're like, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, it's going to be in the 40s next week. You're not going to be wearing shorts a lot. This is the spring. My oldest is 8. She doesn't remember. So they're like, really? It's like, yeah, it's going to be cold. Like, yeah, you're going to need your hoodies and shit like that. So
I was out in shorts all day yesterday. It was great. Beautiful.
Oh, man, the weather's been fantastic. I hate the winter. I hate cold weather. I can't wait to move from Philadelphia to warmer weather when I retire. That's
you need to get another job before you retire, buddy.
Well, yeah, you're not kidding. Well, they have Starbucks in Florida, right? I can work at a Starbucks there or here.
Yeah, you could be a barista.
Yes. So I am going to retweeting your
I'll put out
tweet.
another one this weekend.
Yeah, check it out next Sunday. I will be there, and I'm hoping that some viewers, some of our everyday viewers now that have been joining us here for the last however many weeks, come out. But again, it's for a great cause. And so are you running the 5K, Steve?
I've ran it every year so far. 2 years ago, it was really cold and it really screwed up my back running it. So I was like, if we get shitty weather, I will not be running. I'll be doing something on the course.
A 1 mile kids fun run. You'll run with the kids.
That's like a sprint, more like it's a 100-yard dash kind of thing.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, and they do it on the football field. It's really cute.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm hoping to bring my kids. So.
They'll love it. They'll love it.
Awesome.
But now I might bring out my parents got an electric bike that I might just go out and cruise around on the course if it's cold and just talk with everybody as throughout the whole thing.
All right.
But if we get some decent weather, I'll be running, trying to set a new number.
And where is it? Where's the
It starts up at Bonner and Prendy in Upper Darby and runs through the nice part of Drexel Hill.
Oh, nice. Love those big houses out there. All right.
It's a good area.
All right, man. Well, listen, have a good weekend. And I guess what is even going on this weekend in sports? Nothing? More Philly spring training?
Yeah, pretty much. I've always got St. Patty's drinking on my brain for the weekend.
Oh, are you doing the Delco?
I'll be out tomorrow. We'll be out tomorrow partying around.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. St. Patrick's Day Sunday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not Sunday for me, but definitely tomorrow.
I'm having my wife's like, yeah, we got to clean the house tomorrow because we're having a play date. I'm like, on Sunday, who's coming over? Like, everybody's coming over for a St. Patrick's Day, like, party almost. It's like, all right, awesome.
Are you going to play the piano for everybody?
I am. I'm going to play Irish music piano. do the Irish jig. Oh, that's not nice.
You
definitely. Good.
Yeah, I was going to say, you definitely got an Irish jig in you. I feel like you got that.
I can drink car bombs faster than almost anybody. That's for sure.
Good for you. That is not my repertoire.
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody have a great weekend. Remember, subscribe and follow and everything else. Come on, man. Drexel Hill's nice.
Yeah. Drexel Park is nice, like right in that area, like down Huey Avenue. Like, come on. Some beautiful houses in there.
Of course there is. All right. Again, subscribe, follow, et cetera, et cetera. If you've not seen every show, you can go back and look at all the archives on YouTube at John Marks Media. And don't follow Steve on Twitter because you'll be disappointed. He doesn't ever tweet.
You'll get one tweet a decade.
Yep, for sure.
You'll get two in a week.
All right, everybody.